All right, so now we're on section 3.6, solve applications with linear inequalities. Okay, so let's take a look at this word problem. Emma got a new job and will have to move. Her monthly income will be $5,265. To qualify to rent an apartment, Emma's monthly income must be at least 3 times as much as the rent. What is the highest rent that Emma will qualify for? Okay, so there's a few key items in here. So this is her income, $5,265, and it says here that her monthly income must be at least 3 times as much as the rent. So we are looking for the highest rent that Emma will qualify for. So I'm going to let X equal the amount of rent. And it says here, okay, I'm going to do this in a different color. So right here, the monthly income must be at least 3 times as much as the rent. So her monthly income, $5,265, must be at least, so that means greater than or equal to 3 times the amount of her rent. So now this is the inequality that we're going to solve. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. 5,265. Hold on just a second. Okay, so 5,265 divided by 3 is 1,755. I did not divide by a negative number, so I don't need to flip my signs. So there, that's what we got. We got that $1,755 is greater than or equal to X. Or, if I want to flip this around the other way, notice how the pointy side is facing the variable. I could say that her rent, the amount of her rent, has to be less than or equal to $1,755. All right, so let's read through this one. Dawn won a mini grant of $4,000 to buy tablet computers for her classroom. The tablets she would like to buy cost $254.12 each, including tax and delivery. What is the maximum number of tablets that Dawn can buy? All right, so I'm going to let, again, important parts, let me underline that first. 4,000, they are $254.12 each. That includes your taxes and delivery. So we want to know the maximum number of tablets that she can buy. So I'm going to let X equal the number of tablets. All right, so I know that $254.12 times the number of tablets has to be less than or equal to $4,000. Okay, so now we're going to solve by dividing both sides by $254.12. So I'm typing on my calculator 4,000 divided by 254.12, and I get this number. Okay, so here's what I want you to think about. Is it possible for Dawn to buy 15.74 tablets? It's not possible for you to walk into a store and say, I want 15 3/4 tablets. They're not going to sell you 3/4 of a tablet. So think about this. If we round this up to 16, will she have enough money? So let's do on the calculator 254.12 times 16 and see what we come up with. We get this. She won't have enough money if she buys 16 tablets. So she's going to have to buy 15 tablets or less. So you would say X is less than or equal to 15. This is one of the few times when you would actually round down whenever you have a 7 in this position. She just won't have enough money if we round it up to 16. She won't. So it's got to be 15 tablets or less. All right, so Pete works at a computer store. His weekly pay will either be a fixed amount of $925 or $500 plus 12% of his total sales. How much should his total sales be for his variable pay option to exceed the fixed amount of $925? Okay, so here's what I want you to think of. Okay, so right here, here's our fixed amount. And then here's the other option that Pete gets. And so we want to know when this second option that I'm putting a box around exceeds $925. So we're going to let X equal the amount of sales. All right, so if I say $500 plus 0.12 times his sales, we want that to exceed, so I want that to be greater than $925. So now to solve this, we would subtract 500 from both sides. And I would divide both sides by 0.12. And I notice how I did not flip my sign at all. I never divided or multiplied by a negative number, so I don't need to do that. So I get X can be greater than 3541.67. Remember, this is money we're dealing with. So his sales need to be greater than $3,541.67 in order for it to exceed the fixed amount. Sergio and Lizeth have a very tight vacation budget. They plan to rent a car from a company that charges $75 a week plus 25 cents a mile. How many miles can they travel and still keep within their $200 budget? So again, $75 a week plus 25 cents a mile, and they have a $200 budget. So we're asking how many miles. So I'm going to let X equal the number of miles. So I want 75 plus 0.25 times the number of miles to be less than or equal to $200. So I'm going to subtract 75. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 0.25. Okay, so as long as they drive the car less than or equal to 500 miles, they will stay within their budget. All right, so Elliot has a landscape maintenance business. His monthly expenses are $1,100. If he charges $60 per job, how many jobs must he do to earn a profit of at least $4,000 a month? All right, so his expenses are this. He charges $60 per job, so we're looking for how many jobs, and the guy wants to make at least $4,000 a month. All right, so one side's going to be how much he charges per job minus his expenses, and then the other side's going to be what he wants to make. All right, so we've got, let's define our variable. Let X equal the number of jobs. All right, so we know he charges $60 times the number of jobs. We're going to take away his expenses because that takes money out of your pocket. And we want to know when that is at least 4,000, so greater than or equal to 4,000. So now to solve this, we would add 1,100 to both sides. And then divide both sides by 60. And again, I'm not flipping my sign because I did not divide by a negative number. So I get 85. So Elliot has to do at least 85 jobs in order to turn a profit of $4,000. All right, so this one is probably the most involved that I've shown you yet, but don't be intimidated by it, or at least read through it several times and see where every piece comes from. Brenda's best friend is having a destination wedding, and the event will last 3 days. Now, the only reason that comes into play is that tells you how many nights these people are going to stay in a hotel. Brenda has $500 in savings and can earn $15 an hour babysitting. She expects to pay $350 airfare, $375 for food and entertainment, and $60 a night for her share of a hotel room. How many hours must she babysit to have enough money to pay for the trip? All right, so let's see here. We are looking for how many hours must she babysit. So I'm going to let X equal the number of hours to babysit. Okay. And we know that her expenses have to be less than her income. All right, so one side is going to be expenses and the other side is going to be income. So let's see here. This is income. This is income. Expenses, expenses, expenses. All right, so we know that she has 500 in savings plus 15 times the number of hours that she can babysit. And we want this side, because this is our income side, to be greater than or equal to our expenses. And here's our expenses. $350 for the airfare plus $375 for food plus $60 a night. Don't forget that's 60 times 3 in this case because it's a 3-day event for her share of the hotel room. All right, so now let's go ahead and simplify. Let me go ahead and do 350 plus 375 plus 180, and I get 905 over here. So now to solve for x, I'm going to subtract 500 from both sides. Again, not flipping my sign because I have not divided or multiplied by a negative number. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 15, and I get that x is greater than or equal to 27. And 27 what? What are we dealing with? 27 hours of babysitting. So she needs a minimum of 27 hours in order to go on this trip. All right, so I hope this helps. These word problems they're tough, you guys. I'm not going to lie to you. They're tough. And if you don't practice, you'll never get any better at them. So just keep trying. Keep on working your way through it. All right, send me any message if you have any questions.